welcome back to Meet the Experts. So today, let's journey to Vancouver, Canada, and we are going to meet a beautiful, beautiful expert called Alejandro Otero. He is one of the co-founders of CompanyOn. Now, if you are a nurse in business, you are a nurse who are thinking about business, thinking about entrepreneurship, but you think it's so overwhelming and there's so many moving parts, you want to stay in for this interview. Welcome in, Alejandro. Welcome.
Cassie, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be a part of your program and extremely grateful for this opportunity.
Absolutely. We're so happy to have you here. You've been a nurse for a very long time. You've worked
hmm
in different specialties. You mind sharing how long have you been in nursing?
I graduated from nursing in 2007, so it's going to be almost 20 years. And it's been in many, many fields within the profession.
Yes, yes. So I have prepared a few rapid fire questions to ask you all about nursing, healthcare, and what you have created and innovated with your partner to help nurses and help the profession. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay. So my first question to you, Alejandro, is if you could share, sorry, if you could share one piece of advice with your younger self, what would it be and why?
I will say, do not think too much about jumping in. I think for many reasons, be it personal or professionally, you do take a little bit of cautious when you want to bring new ideas, when you want to enter into a new part of your profession,
Mhm,
when you want to start a business. I would say do not think it twice, because at the end of the day, knowing yourself and everything that you've accomplished thus far,
mhm,
it is definitely going to help you get and fulfill that dream that you have in place. Um, you will find resources,
mhm.
people like yourself, and opportunities that unless you really face them and go for them, otherwise you will not be able to live them, to experience them. So go for it.
Go for it. I love that. I love that advice. I think we can't hear that enough. Go for it. Love it. The second question I had for you is if it's a big one, if you had the power to change or transform healthcare, one major aspect of healthcare, what would it be? What would you transform? And how do you envision your transformation impacting the system of healthcare and the people that we serve?
I will say that currently here in North America, both in Canada and the US, we want the government to do more about, which is really part of their obligations. But as a professional healthcare provider, there are opportunities out there that I personally, individually, can help our healthcare system. One of them is taking advantage of all my specialties, my training, my experience as a healthcare professional, as a nurse,
Mhm.
and build a business. More and more, patients are just being kicked out of hospitals,
Yes.
where the government, because of how high the cost to have a patient in the hospital are,
Mhm.
they end up going into their communities. They end up going into their homes and facilities. So if we have the skills, be
Mhm.
it wound care, be it counseling, be it whatever that skill you have as a nurse, if
Mhm.
you have that, you can be a difference. You can make a difference not only within the healthcare system, but also the community that you are part of. That is been something that we've been able to, through our product company on, being able to support nurses that have no idea about business, but do have the skills and want to help patients in their communities accomplish.
I love this. I love this because you go from seeing a problem and seeing the growing problem and just complaining about it to saying, no, as a nurse, you have skills, you have knowledge that you could actually monetize. Now, would you like to share with us a little
Yes.
bit about how CompanyOn will actually help the nurse monetize. So if somebody's like, I'm just a nurse. I'm not an advanced practicing nurse. Maybe I'm good at wound care or I'm good at patient education, but how do I turn that into a business?
Cassie, the genesis of Company On was came to life out of that same question that many nurses realize here
Mhm,
in Vancouver, BC, um, the capabilities that they could have to make that difference. These are nurses that mostly work in healthcare authorities or hospitals,
mhm.
but then they will see how the MD or even the hospital in itself will discharge a
Yeah.
patient that all needs, medical needs, social needs, psychosocial needs, were
Mhm,
not able to be met prior for that individual to be sent home.
mhm,
Um, a group of them then realize, hey, I do know wound care. I see many of the patients that I'm looking in the hospital just
mhm,
needing aftercare
mhm.
at the home where if I have a series of supplies, if I have all the skills that I have and I can implement within their home settings, why wouldn't I be able to make a difference in their lives? So we started Company On with a group of wound care nurses that were looking for a system that could take care of the business aspect, meaning booking appointments,
Mhm,
processing payments, tracking payments,
mhm,
generating invoices, collecting documentation, which is a key part for us as regulated professionals, EMR processes, templates, all these processes that when you find them in one place, it definitely simplifies all the challenges and even take care of all the challenges and barriers that come when you want to build business. So, being able to create a system that can support these individuals. We nurses, unfortunately, do not go to business school. All that we want is care for our community, for our patients. But when you don't have the tools or the knowledge to look after those business necessities, and there
mhm,
is a system that you can implement to do that on your behalf, giving you peace of mind as well. Because again, in regulation, in nursing, in the healthcare system, healthcare providers do have to fulfill mandates and regulation, HIPAA, PIPEDA here in Canada. So many pieces when you have a system that can support you in all those aspects and can give you peace of mind is a no-brainer. So that's how we've been able to build our business, support the healthcare system, but more importantly, just empower nurses, counselors, coaches to build a thriving business.
Yes. And as someone who uses your system, I have used your system and I have advocated for your system. I use it for coaching and I really love it because there are other systems out there with the forms that are pre-filled, the consents and all of the forms that we need for healthcare. But the cost is usually so much for the nurse, especially when you're just starting. You don't have that.
Mhm.
But you guys have been able to keep your costs really low and your technology really high. How have you done that?
Well, I think is a it's like a team effort.
Mhm,
I am extremely fortunate to have a partner in my business partner Alejandro, the technical knowledge, the skill, and the ability to build a very solid, empowering system without much of an investment, with the same quality that is needed when it comes to again meeting those privacy confidentiality regulations, and then we've been able to leverage the different aspects of how many practitioners are at once, like what is the data is all these technicalities that I'm not the best to share with you, but bring the costs of building a system like ours lower, so we can, again, it's a great point that you're making. Many nurses are solo practitioners, and they might be starting, having two jobs. And as they're building the practice, definitely the overhead costs cannot be high, because otherwise they would not be able to keep doing it. So with that in mind, that was something key for us, key for me as a solo practitioner, as an independent practitioner, as a nurse, that we needed to implement, and we continue doing that. As we grow, definitely those expenses are able to be maintained. And again, as long as we are able to meet that need and support practitioners, coaches, again, independent practitioners, solo practitioners, to start the business with the less expensive solutions there, but quite powerful,
Mhm.
um, we will continue doing so.
Lovely, lovely. That is so beautiful. Now, my question for you was, how do you think, or how do you see Companion, or Company On? I don't know if I'm saying it the right way. Um,
I love it both. I love it
okay,
both ways.
you see this system, because that's what it is. It's more than just a tool, it's a system. How do you see this really helping nurses so much to the point that it actually the legacy and the impact that you, Alejandro, that you want to leave behind, how do you see it playing a role in that, in your
I will
legacy?
say the time savings. You and I know this.
Mhm,
The growth, as our business grow, uh, the less time we have, not only to look after that business, but also our family, our personal life. The legacy that I see our system leave is a balanced life. The ability for coaches, nurses, any practitioner in the healthcare system run a business, but have the time to spend it with family, have the time to,
mhm,
continue meeting their hobbies, is key for us. We have created a system that is saving up to 8, sometimes 10 hours a week just on documentation. The ability to implement templates that automatically you can pre-fill or just check mark, but that information that is key for regulatory obligations is there, is key
mhm.
for us. And just wait. There's going to be AI capabilities as well that are coming in 2026 that are going to make you even more productive when it comes to scheduling, when it comes to documentation, when it comes to just streamlining every aspect of your business. So balanced life, that's the legacy we want to leave with our system for every single practitioner, every single coach that uses it.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely. Now, you and your partner, you both have entered into this entrepreneurial space. So, my next set of questions are going to be directed to you as an entrepreneur. What has been one of the biggest mindset shifts that you had to take to become a successful entrepreneur?
Be fearless.
Mm,
Be fearless. Um, just talk to people, network, become part of communities, become part of you, Casey, all that community that you've been able to build through LinkedIn. Um, you cannot get to your ultimate goal without the help of others.
mm,
What is the saying about, like, you cannot build something without a village behind you? And I will say so. I will say that you're not alone. I will say, like, ask questions,
mhm,
go on the internet, become part of communities on your field, on what you want to become, because that is going to bring and open doors, is going to bring opportunities, and it will take you to places that you never thought. would be able to be part of.
Amazing.
That is my number one advice.
Thank you for sharing. And I have to say, I've known you and Alejandro for a little while now. And something that I
Yes.
have admired about the way you guys run your business is that you have been very keen as to the culture that you were building. You didn't want to build too fast, too much. And
Mhm.
you want to create this some of these bigger companies, they charge you. Yes, they have all the systems, but there's nobody for you to talk to. Where you guys, you're on the phone, you're the customer service. Not that you're doing everything, but you, because you're the face of your company, you like that beautiful person, in-person touch with your clients. Is that something that you want to keep on as you are branding your company and growing?
Yes, yes, Casey. I will say that the sense of community is very important for Alejandro and I, because without the community that we have been able to be a part of, this entrepreneurial community, both here in Canada, but also in the States, we wouldn't be where we are today. Um, um, and again, it is so key that you network, and Cassie, you have been so important and so key for our success. When we met you and the entrepreneurial group, it was just like an eye opener that despite that we were already building these communities and going to all these conferences and groups, meeting them online, it is just taking us to a different level. So I agree with you. One of our main goals is just being able to build a community to have transparent, honest conversations with our clients. As a healthcare professional, I know the business, I know the industry, and if I'm able to educate and somehow bring solutions that you can implement within your own practice, your own business, um, that's why I am doing what I am doing.
I love it. Alejandro, I am such a visionary. And when I met you, I saw the vision because I actually spoke to some leaders who own nurse coaching schools. And I really am a big advocate and proponent for nurse coaching because I really
Yes.
do believe that's going to bring a lot of nurses purpose and fulfillment as we get to really do nursing our way and have a business. However, where I see there are gaps is after the training, it's such a big hike to run a business. So I
Mhm.
really, as a visionary, I really see your system and the culture of how you're holding these nurses' hands as they integrate these systems to have a business. I really see you filling a big role there. And as nurses, if we get to talking and we get to having a united front in our communities, and we're actually filling some of these gaps that are going to be coming up, they're going to need your system. They're going to need this culture, not just the systems, but the culture you created where they can slowly or gently start two, three patients. The overhead is not going to be so burdensome
Yes.
to their business. Am I speaking to
Yes.
your company?
You are. Kazi, we have partnered up with coaching agencies like educational, like a specialty. Wound care, for example, is a
Mhm.
specialty here in Canada, and there are a few schools in which many nurses go into it, thinking that they will be able to use that specialty into their own business. So we have three key schools in Ontario, in BC, and in Alberta. And that's how we have been able to grow our community and our customers. The moment that these individuals finish the program, they do have access to our solutions. Even during the training, they can have a preview, they can play with our system so they can understand it and know the value that it brings to starting your business. The
Mhm.
overhead costs that you mentioned are very minimal. And in fact, these are, I don't know how it is in the state, but what you can charge in an hour privately is almost three times what you will get paid in the healthcare system here in BC at least.
Mm.
So even one client, we completely meet that overhead cost when it comes to implementing our systems. And it's just a realization of these nurses. Hey, everything is pretty much
Yeah.
plug and get going and just start building that community, start building your clients, because there's nothing more than that, being out there, being fearless, that is going to take you to the places that you want to be, professionally and business wise.
And one last thing I want to talk about is something that I have used, and because I use the product and I'm not getting paid for this interview, so it's genuinely an authentic response to your product. But I realized that the system allows you to do so many customizations, even if a nurse wanted to build a luxury brand, even if they wanted
Mhm.
to at just for such a low cost, they wanted to brand themselves differently. So it doesn't mean that you have to see everybody in the community, but if you wanted to offer a luxury service, your system allows them to do that with the branding, bringing their personal branding in.
Very much. And I think that is key to our success, Cassie. And I can tell you, we have coaches and nurses that have been with us for 5+ years, and seeing how their business and their approach has evolved
Mhm,
is just very fulfilling, to the point where, as you said, like they're having a luxury brand,
mhm,
because of their needs and feedback. We have been able to then develop or optimizing processes that can meet their needs. The branding piece as well. It's all these little pieces, and again, this is what makes us very unique, the ability to, you pretty much are using a system that is customized to you. Um, uh, you have given us feedback that we have implemented, and that is how we grow. That is how we scale. That's how we just build this community. But it is true. It is true what you're saying. Definitely, systems like ours can bring your business to the level that you are looking for, with no restraints, with no extra costs. And you have experienced that firsthand. And again, we're super grateful for you to be a great advocate for our business, for our services.
yes, I love the autonomy and the empowerment that you're bringing to nurses. But I want to stop a moment and I just want to say, because someone might be listening to this interview and they say, "Well, I'm not a nurse, but I have a specialty. I have a skill that I need a system for." Does your system only work for nurses in healthcare, or can other people use it for maybe if they're health and wellness coaches?
Yes, more and more nurses are moving into the wellness industry, where, for example, for aesthetics services and things like that, cosmetic ones that are not quite related to the nursing that you will do at the point of care. But yes, and even our niche has always been nurses, but as we grow and others learn about our product and our solutions, we are growing in the coaching industry. We are growing in the counseling industry, massage therapy. Again, wellness clinics are
Mhm,
now starting to use our system. And again, as it evolves, is able to meet those specific needs for those specific niches.
mhm.
So pretty much any healthcare provider, wellness, that is looking for a system that can simplified how they operate. We provide those solutions, Cassie.
Thank you. Now, I know we talked a little bit about systems, and when you get into business, you realize, man, I need a system for scheduling my clients. I need a system for paying. I need a system for tracking. I need a system for marketing or having a website. Let's break down what systems do people get when they come into Company On. The scheduling, the first,
Yes,
the point of getting the client and on your book.
yes.
You guys cover that, the scheduling.
We do, and we help you engage your patients, your clients through the scheduling, meaning that with the scheduling, you can it provides you the ability to for clients to book online.
Mhm,
You set reminders that are sent to your clients to remind them to decrease no shows or late cancellations,
mhm,
and future appointments as well. If you want clients to meet with you to see you every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks, you can also set reminders future meetings, future encounters, so they do not forget about you. They do not forget that you exist, and of your services. So that is the scheduling system that we have. You can scale also your practice. So if you start as a solo practitioner, you can just build a clinic of five. Our biggest client has 60 nurses right now, as part of a company on serving their business. So yes, we have the schedule, and it provides all these capabilities.
that is absolutely awesome. The scheduling is built in, and then there are templates. Then there is the payment system,
Yes.
all there. And if you don't even need to have a website because you can have a website there for
Yes.
you. So it really you really touch on all the aspects. And I know below we're going to leave the link so that they can go in and they can see how to navigate your system. But it really is a business in a box. It has all the systems there for them. That's absolutely wonderful. Alejandro, do you have any closing words? It could be for the nurses, it could be for new nurses, it could be for nurses who are going into entrepreneurship. Do you have any closing words or words of advice that you would like to share with the audience as we close off this interview?
Yes. Technology has evolved to a point where you can leverage every aspect of it for anything that you want. Again, the healthcare system, the how expensive it is becoming, or has been already, for the federal government to manage the all the needs that come with it. We have the power, we do have the skill, we do have the knowledge to help it. It is something that is going to benefit us. I would say financially, but also professionally, and again, no more fear. Be fearless. The ability to leverage all these tools that you find now out there, such as Companion, is going to make a difference whenever you are ready, and you already are ready for building your own business, no matter in what field within the healthcare industry you are. So. Um, Learn about us more, and we are happy to connect on a one-on-one conversation. Cassie is a great example of the solutions and empowerment that we bring to providers like herself, and we are always here, always here.
Absolutely. Beautiful people and beautiful solutions. Well, I thank you for joining me on this interview today. We learn about your solution. We learn about how it's going to empower our nurses who may feel a little apprehensive about starting their own business, but how they could monetize their skills but at a very low cost. So I love it. Love the
Yes.
solutions. And I thank you for taking the time out. You're busy CEO, but taking the time out to come here and share with us the solution. So nurses, you see, I asked them all of my questions and some. What questions do you have for Alejandro? What would you like to know about Companion? What would you like to know about systems and how would this integrate with the business you're thinking of or the business you already have? Leave your comments below. And if you're on LinkedIn, don't forget to add. You could add the company, you could add me, or you could add Alejandro, and we all gonna respond. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you, Alejandra. It was so nice to be meeting you and talking about this. This is so empowering. And audience, we will see you next time on Meet the Experts. Thank you, Alejandro.
Thank you, Cassie.
Oh,
Okay, I think
hold
the recording